handed the town ready, so to speak, but cool. Test, test. Okay, wonderful. Okay, seeing as it is 5 o'clock, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everyone will please rise and refer to the flag behind the dais up here. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on the agenda, the real agenda is, of course, the approval of the agenda, so I would accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Motion's been made. I'll go ahead and second that motion. Seeing no further discussion, I will go ahead and call the vote. All in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to public comments. Of course, speakers will be given a 5-minute maximum time limit to speak before the Board of Elections about various topics, issues, and concerns. Speakers must direct comments to the board, and responses are reserved at the direction of the board. So if we have any public comment, we got one? Okay, yeah, please approach the desk over here. State your name, your Fayette County residency, and begin your comments.
Paula Barnes, and I live in the Trilith community. Do I need to give my full address?
That's perfectly
Okay.
fine, ma'am. Thank you.
It was just a question. I know that we are missing a member, and I wondered what the process was for your adding a new member. That's all.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can tackle that in my board member report later down the line. Okay, seeing no further public comment, we don't have any items of old business. We don't have any items of new business. We will be approving our minutes from this February meeting at our next regularly scheduled meeting in April, just for the public's awareness. And then, of course, our public hearing is of staff's challenges to remove registered Fayette County voters from the electors list who are registered in the state of Georgia Secretary of State voter registration system as deceased, mentally incompetent, canceled, or felon, as well as precinct and or polling location changes as needed. So Director Garrett, if you wouldn't mind, please disclose the certain numbers that we have for this. Yes.
Greetings, board. So for the month of March, since our last board meeting, we have canceled a total of 96. For the deceased voters, we have canceled 80. For our regular cancellations, on your report it says duplicate, but it should say cancellations, it's 11. For felons, it is 3. And for mentally incompetent, it is 2. And I do want to note that you may be used to getting this as a separate report, but I included it in my director's report. Save the trees.
I appreciate that thoughtfulness of the environment, so thank you.
Are there any questions as far as the cancellation report for me?
On that one part, we are the people, you know how you usually on the list of the people that moved out of state or in state, is that included in duplicates?
Yes, which should be labeled cancellations, but I didn't change the name.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Okay. So with that, seeing as no action from the board is needed, this is beyond our authority, we can go ahead and move on to the director's report itself. So Director Garrett, if you wouldn't mind sharing your comments.
Greetings, board, again. As of March 31st, 2026, there are 98,677 registered voters in Fayette County. So my report is long, but I'm going to just hit some highlights. Most of this is for your own knowledge. We begin accepting absentee ballot applications on March 2nd, which is supposed to be in your report, but to provide an up-to-date report, as of now, we have accepted 150 absentee ballot applications. An additional 18 UOCAVA applications have been accepted as well. You do have a list of our workshops coming up for poll workers, as well as our poll worker training schedule included in your board report. Also, LNA testing will begin on next Wednesday, April 8th at 9:00 a.m. With that, I do want to say that our election supervisor position is still vacant, and I am trying my best to balance both. We did have a total of 5 new techs start 2 weeks ago, and so far they've been really good and able to grasp what we have going on. Something that I know board member Alexander was concerned about was the upkeep of our equipment. In the last week, they have been going through and looking at our batteries, testing those, charging those as we should be doing, and also starting to do inventory on all of our voting equipment and its status. So we are diligently working on that, and we're waiting on LNA to start our printer LNA and inventory at the same time so that we're not doubling up our workload. So that will begin next week. But so far, they are really good. It's just I have to find an election supervisor. Also, I'm gonna do polling location updates last. Our renovations are complete. Can you believe it? But yes, the renovations have been completed. They have just been doing some last minute cleaning over there the last 2 days. However, we will begin the process of moving this week. So on Friday, I was approved maybe an hour ago from the state elections director to move our EMS. So I have my letter of approval. So we will be moving over that system on Friday along with our security team to the other side of the building so that our operations on election night will not be on top of each other a little bit. But understand that we still have to phase this out because I am balancing a lot in the office with no election supervisor on top of budget, on top of other things. So I'll do ask your patience as we kind of amend our processes as we go. I wish I could just snap my fingers and it's all perfect, but I have to slow down just a little bit to keep going and for the security and of the election. So lastly, just to make sure there's nothing else that I needed to report on out loud, I want to talk about our polling location updates. And the reason that is not an agenda item is because we've already passed the timeline to be able to formally move polling locations. But as I mentioned in the last meeting, so we did do an action item to move New Hope Baptist Church. I'm sorry, let me use the precinct names because it can be very confusing.
Morning Creek.
So Morning Creek to 28 with Oak Ridge as a co-location. Then Oak Ridge informed us that they in fact will be closing as well. So that left us with 2 polling locations with no home. So in order to not move them together, we split them back up. So in your director's report, you have a graph. Morning Creek will be moved to Black Rock. And in your graph, you see that that's a total of registered voters of 2,847. And approximately 26 voters will be moved. But both of those turnouts were below 25% on the election day during the last election. For Oak Ridge, which is Fayetteville Friendship Community Church, we'll be moving that to True Light Baptist Church, which only had 925 voters. So that impact is not as grand. And both of those elections, again, have under a 25% voter turnout, but you have those numbers in your report. As for Stars Mill, located at One Church, we still have the same issue that we've had the last 2 summers that I've been here, which is during the summer, they're not available for the programs. And even in our last election, I think we had to do some last-minute changes and vote in the hallway and then pick up that precinct that night. So we rented a U-Haul and sent the tech team out to print them up at the last minute. Ultimately, we do not have anywhere to go within the Stars Mills precinct, and we're outside of I'm still looking at our deadlines and our dates, but our elections coordinator is still trying to contact them to confirm that they can still hold the May 19th election. Our backup plan, worst case scenario, is to move them to Harps Crossing, which is 5.8 miles away, which is not in your report, but I remember it from talking with April, and serve as a co-location at that location if necessary. But at this time, we are 75% sure that we'll be able to hold our May election at Stars Mill One Church. Any questions?
Other than, if we had a runoff, which would be in June,
Then we definitely will have to co-locate.
you
And we will
definitely have to what, co-locate?
Co-locate, yes, because One Church is not available for June.
Okay, but the other 2 co-locations should work for June as well if we,
Oh, yes.
okay.
Well, wait, let me clarify. I'm sorry. Black Rock, let me go back there. Yesterday, they do have a concern, and that is Fayetteville Christian Church, which is literally in walking distance from Morning Creek. But their concern is they want to move it to the gym, but their gym has a brand new floor and they don't want to scuff up the floor. So they want to know if the county will assist with funds for the floor if voters do scuff it up, in which I have informed them that we will not. However, their current polling location, the room, I've been there almost every election, good and bad, is feasible to hold 2 polling locations with the lobby and the extra room that they have, and it's a secure location. So our elections coordinator is going to reach back out to them and let them know that we don't think that the move is necessary, especially with the turnout numbers for election day. If it was advanced voting, that would be a completely different conversation. But we don't find that the move is necessary, and I think that that space is adequate enough for the upcoming election. However, they are not available to confirm, and this is for Registrar Unvala too, until Saturday when they have their deacons meeting. And that is for Registrar Unvala, just so you all know, is because we've been holding our precinct cards and notifications, because what we don't want to do is cause confusion, which one voter has already reached out to us about the different changes. So we want to make sure that once we move forward with everything, that it's clear on what the directive is. And just so you know, for these changes, we still will be sending out notifications. We have not sent them yet because we want everything in writing and in stone. But they will get a bright colored sheet, piece of paper in the mail telling them what their changes to their polling location.
On your percentages for turnout,
Yes, ma'am.
what primary was
The
that?
2024.
Okay,
May
presidential.
2024.
Okay,
Yes. Because that's the last light election. So I didn't want to go with the PSC because that's a small
right.
election.
That was my question. I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do. I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
it's crazy that this is happening. And it's kind of sad to hear that churches are closing. I mean, that's 2 rather large churches. So, Harps Crossing is, you know, a lot of their space is out front, where you go in, where the little lunch place is. And I think that room inside where they go to vote, it's dark. But that's a lot to be pushing through there. But I think that one would work. My biggest concern is Fayetteville Christian. If they won't let you use the gym, and we certainly can't take in, I mean, anything that happened, it would be our fault. So I agree, they have to go where we are currently. But that's a pretty small room, in my opinion. They check in outside, right? At the end of that little hall when you go in?
Right. They would do their check-in in the hallway, and you would just split the room in half. And seeing that most of our voting takes place during advanced voting, I wouldn't expect that there would be any lines or any additional complications on top for election day.
That's where most of the people went last time anyway, even in 2025 when we changed things around. They went to Fayette Christian because it was so close.
And
So-
I do want to note that this is all a part of why I want to revisit precincts in 2027, because for every time that we change, we have to send out a notification to these locations, just talking about taxpayer dollars a little bit, as well as by special paper to send it out with. So just thought I would throw it out there that in 2027, I hope to be able to kind of find an answer for all of these issues so that we can get some consistency in the county. And so that the numbers would make more sense as far as our polling locations.
Okay, any further questions for the director on the director's report? I'm seeing none. I can go ahead and move on to the attorney's report. Patrick, you got anything for us? Thank you, sir. Of course, board members' reports is the next item up, so I'd ask my colleague, Vice Chair Alexander, if she has a report to offer.
Actually, no. I think y'all are doing a great job and a lot going around and happening, et cetera. So we appreciate all the hard work, and hopefully we can smooth this out and get more people in soon.
Absolutely. Just to echo some of those sentiments, you know, we have all our staff here that supports us at these meetings. I just want to also highlight, we have our intern Musa, who's been supporting our work in the office and doing great work and community engagement, making sure that we can reach people through a variety of different methods and make sure that everyone can stay abreast of all election information, mainly through a new email distribution list for any interested constituents that want to stay in the loop on everything that's happening in the elections office and Fayette County elections.
Is he gonna stay in town for time?
I see a nodding head. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
Yes, you are?
He's still waiting on some additional college acceptances.
Okay.
So,
additional acceptance.
additional.
Absolutely.
High ranking, might I add. But I won't tell his business on the record. But I
What?
am proud, a proud director.
Well, I think we look forward to sharing the good news very soon. So-
I'm sorry, since we're talking about Moose, and I know that I'm supposed to be going. I don't know if I said it last time, but just in case I didn't, he's also the valedictorian for Fayette County High School. I can't remember if I mentioned it during the last meeting, but I don't want to let it go unsaid since we're giving Musa praises.
We are very fortunate to have Musa, so a quick little round of applause for him. Thank you very much for your work, Musa, and for your intelligence and for being a paragon of everything we do here at Fayette County Elections. With that, I'll just briefly cover one thing, just for the public's awareness. The vacancy on our Board of Elections is handled, of course, by the County Commission. The vacancy is their appointee. So their application period, I believe, closed on March 6th. So in the ensuing weeks after that, so, past couple weeks, they've been conducting interviews with candidates, and I would presume that we would have an appointee in the next month, probably by the next meeting, but, these timelines can be a little strange. Director Garrett, are you privy to any other further information?
Yes, they did reopen the applications and extended another additional 30 days. So early April is when that will close again, and they will conduct every applicant who has put in for the interview.
Okay, thank you, Director Garrett. Now that we covered that, I don't believe we have any necessary executive sessions, so with that, I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Motion has been made, a second is not necessary. Seeing no further discussion, I can call the vote. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.